Today we are going to look at 10 great biopics about not-so-great people. Conflict, an essential ingredient for any drama to succeed. A good cast, nuanced script, and director also helps. And while a likable character often serves as a reliable vehicle to drive the plot, a great movie can still excel with a wide range of character flaws. Several classic films have benefited from fictional anti-hero characters, such as Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver, or the man with no name in early Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, and Michael Corleone in the Godfather trilogy. Similarly, Hollywood has churned out a stockpile of biopics, biographical pictures, despite shining a spotlight on individuals who weren't all Gandhi-esque. As always with this kind of arbitrary list, art forms like cinema are highly subjective. After all, one man's strangers on a train is another's snakes on a plane. If you are new to our channel, then don't forget to subscribe. Number 10, The Social Network. This 2009 David Fincher, SE7EN, Fight Club, film examines the fascinating genesis of Facebook and its boy wonder, Mark Zuckerberg, Jesse Eisenberg, who morphs from a lonely Harvard student into the CEO of the world's largest social media network. But as the movie's tagline suggests, you don't have 500 million friends without making some enemies. Indeed. The story of Zuckerberg's mercurial rise is both impressive and eerily prescient, as he steals, connives, and screws over friends while building his behemoth creature. Paging, Dr. Zuckenstein. Fortunately, the well-crafted drama is also wildly entertaining, featuring a score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross and highlighted by the visually stunning regatta scene that plays right into Fincher's wheelhouse. Flash forward to 2019 and Facebook is all grown up with an expanded platform that now includes election meddling, online bullying, endless hate speech and private data for sale to the highest bidder. And with over 2 billion monthly active users and facing a never-ending litigation, it's probably going to take a hell of a lot more than cute cat videos to fix this glitch. Number 9. Steve Jobs. First of all, let's be clear which flick is being presented about the enigmatic founder of Apple Computers. Steve Jobs, 2015, featured Michael Fassbender, Shame, Hunger, in the title role, a script by Aaron Sorkin and the vision of Academy Award-winning director Danny Boyle. Jobs, 2013, had Ashton Kutcher in it. Since passing away from cancer in 2011, the actual Steve Jobs left behind an amazing legacy. But like many mad genius types, his demons often made him difficult to be around in spite of revolutionizing an industry with amazing products, including the MacBook Air creating this list. In Steve Jobs, Fassbender exudes his usual commanding on-screen presence to capture the intensity of the tech titan, wrestling with one stupendous crisis after another, both personal and professional. Boyle's direction makes for an interesting and unconventional approach that grabs the viewer and never lets go. The talents of Jeff Daniels, Seth Rogen, and Kate Winslet all provide balanced weight in supporting roles. Number 8. Spirit of St. Louis. This film chronicles the historic first transatlantic solo flight by aviation pioneer, Charles "Lucky" Lindy Lindbergh. Directed by Billy Wilder, Sunset Boulevard, Some Like It Hot, in 1957, the title takes its name from Lindbergh's single-engine plane and stars Jimmy Stewart, who lends his trademark boyish persona as the heroic young pilot, despite being nearly 50 at the time. In the spring of 1927, Lindbergh's daring flight transfixed a nation and made him a household name. His luster, however, would soon become heavily tarnished with a series of scandals. Lindbergh repeatedly used his elevated platform to advocate extreme nationalist views, including an open letter that ran in Reader's Digest and underscored his blatantly racist and anti-Semitic views. we can have peace and security only so long as we band together to preserve that most priceless possession, our inheritance of European blood, only so long as we guard ourselves against attack by foreign armies and dilution by foreign races. Number 7. They died with their boots on. Swashbuckling screen legend Errol Flynn, Robin Hood, Captain Blood, stars as U.S. Cavalry officer George Armstrong Custer in a highly fictionalized, and whitewashed, account of the Battle of Little Big Horn. Olivia de Havilland, as Mrs. Custer, joins Flynn in their 8th and final pairing together, creating the always palpable chemistry between them. Unfortunately, historical accuracy takes a back seat as Custer is seen as a noble and brave soldier, and champion of Native American independence. Horse Feathers. Helmed by Hollywood veteran Raoul Walsh, the movie features a series of realistic battle scenes, thrilling stunts by the incomparable Yakima Canutt, and even flashes of comic relief as Custer stumbles his way through West Point, where he finished last in his class. But the soldier's name would be forever remembered for his actions with the fabled 7th Cavalry Regiment in a fatal encounter with warriors of the Lakota Sioux Nation led by Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse. Number 6. Sid and Nancy. This biopic depicts the incendiary romance between punk rock icon Sid Vicious and his girlfriend Nancy Spungen. The 1986 film manages to create both pity and empathy in an unflinching, intimate portrait of two troubled souls in the grips of heroin addiction. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well. The film begins at the Hotel Chelsea in New York City, where the couple had been living and fighting in squalor. Through flashbacks, we see the development of their destructive, CO-dependent relationship. Nancy is later found dead from a stab wound with a knife belonging to Sid, who in a hazy stupor doesn't remember what happened. The movie ends with the two lovebirds driving off in a taxi cab as part of a prearranged suicide pact, although, in real life, Sid was arrested and charged with murder, and while awaiting trial died of a heroin overdose the day after being released from jail on an unrelated charge. Number 5. Ray. In a tour de force turn that won him an Oscar for Best Actor, Jamie Foxx, Booty Call, Django Unchained, transforms into blind R&B icon Ray Charles. Although overly sentimental at times, the film covers both the highs and lows in the singer's tumultuous life and groundbreaking career that produced 13 #1 hits, a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and enshrinement into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He also first began shooting heroin in his teens, and later fathered 12 children by 10 different women. The talented cast includes Kerry Washington as the singer's second wife and an outstanding Sharon Warren as his mother. Directed by Taylor Hackford, an officer and a gentleman, against all odds, the 2004 film enjoyed both critical and box office success and earned an Academy Award Best Picture nomination. Hackford actually had acquired the rights to the story in 1987, but could never get studio backing, a fact that speaks volumes to the lack of diversity that continues to plague Hollywood. Number 4. Rudy. From director David Anspaugh and writer Angelo Pizzo, the talented duo behind Hoosiers, Rudy stars Sean Astin in the title role about an ordinary kid with extraordinary dreams. What isn't shown is how the real Rudy parlayed his notoriety into a pump-and-dump penny stock scheme that's neither inspirational nor a Hollywood ending. Released in 1993, Rudy is based on the real-life story of Rudy Ruettinger, an undersized athlete from the wrong side of the railroad tracks, who, through hard work and determination, plays football for Notre Dame. Well, kinda sorta, anyway. Like most paint-by-number, against-all-odds sports movies, a healthy dollop of embellishment is added for the sake of a more compelling narrative and emotional investment in the characters. More on investment later. Number 3. The Aviator. Leonardo DiCaprio, The Departed, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, attempts to fill the shoes of the enigmatic, larger-than-life multi-hyphenate, Howard Hughes, in this 2004 Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas, Casino, picture. As expected, we see Hughes dealing with various unflattering phobias, and betting more starlets than Mattress Warehouse, but the reality of Hughes being a crappy pilot, deranged junkie, and spoiled rich brat go largely ignored. True to the movie's title, Scorsese spends the first hour recreating the making of Hughes's WWI flyboy epic, Hell's Angels. That film, which began in the silent era but ended up a talkie, would pioneer several innovative camera techniques and feature some of the most thrilling aerial combat scenes in cinematic history and resulted in 4 stuntmen being killed. Hughes also introduced a 19-year-old platinum bombshell to the world named Jean Harlow. Scorsese, however, is guilty of perpetuating several myths, including the falsehoods that Hughes assembled the world's largest air force for Hell's Angels. He didn't, and the young mogul was a talented aviator. He wasn't, despite crashing several planes and nearly killing himself in the process. To be fair, Hughes did excel at hype and staged some of the most spectacular Hollywood premieres ever witnessed. Number 2. Patton. George C. Scott, Dr. Strangelove, The Hustler, took home the Oscar. Actually, he refused it, for his frighteningly realistic portrayal of George S. Patton. Although Patton's tactical brilliance and innovations in tank warfare helped win World War II, he wasn't called OL Blood and Guts for nothing. Patton won a total of 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay, CO written by Francis Ford Coppola. The movie famously opens with Scott delivering a monologue with a gigantic American flag as a backdrop that became the most iconic image of the film. Although the message of American strength and superiority is meant to be aspirational, there's just something fundamentally wrong with a man who views war the same way Oprah looks at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Number 1. Raging Bull. Scorsese is back again, topping the list with his magnum opus about the rough-and-tumble life of boxer, Robert De Niro heir, Jake LaMotta Wait, Who's Who again. Shot in glorious black and white that perfectly captures the dark, shadowy storyline and earned De Niro a well-deserved Academy Award for Best Actor. Ask any boxing fan about the Bronx Bull LaMotta and most will agree the brawler was a tough SOB. When he wasn't fighting in the ring, he spent his time terrorizing others, usually family members, in a maniacal, self-destructive rage. As LaMotta, De Niro seamlessly transitions from a chubby nightclub entertainer into the world middleweight champion, losing 60 pounds in the process.